Under 6.3, business arising from minutes. I have a motion, require an item in there under appointments to the library boards.
Okay, 6.3 library board appointments. Okay, anything else? There's also on the table, there's a letter regarding political boundaries, and it should be added to council information, the correspondence section of item 14. Councillor Hammond.
Just for clarification, this 6.1 land use bylaw amendment, do we do another reading? I thought we already did 3. There's a final one after the 3?
No, we didn't do.
The second one.
Pardon?
We did second and third ones.
Let's go through the minutes and catch them.
The dog on page 13.
Yeah, it is.
Page 13.
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Yep.
Good eye. Any further additions or subtractions to the agenda? Okay, I entertain a motion then to adopt the agenda as amended. Councilor Norman. Any further questions, comments? All those in favor? Aye. Adopted. Moving on then to delegations. We have 2 scheduled delegations, and the first one is the Fire Department Scholarship Fund. Fire Chief Martinson, would you introduce the recipient, please?
So this gentleman here is Aiden Karen, first junior to go through the scholarship program. And I think the end of November, we awarded him the $3,000 that he had earned for giving us 3 years of service. So, and then he used that to go to school, and now he's back as an 18-year-old and full firefighter on our department. So.
Excellent. Excellent. Is there a presentation of some kind, clerk?
Yes, there is
Okay.
solicitation of a check.
Yeah.
For scholarship. So would you? Yeah.
Let's try. Mark here.
Here's the actual.
Yeah, don't try to catch this one. I hear you. I take the little one. That's the little one.
Yeah, because it's easy to just.
We got it?
Yep.
Thanks,
I'll take one more.
Oh, one more.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, David.
Yeah. Good.
It's nice to recognize achievement like that. Okay, our next delegate is Mr. Craig Radstack, Smitty's Restaurant. Please come to the forward, the mic there, and when you're speaking, just switch the mic on, okay?
Test. We're good. Hello, thank you for allowing me to come here tonight to talk with council. I've been a local business person in town here for about 15 years. And I'm just here tonight to talk about the state of the local area economy and economic development and perhaps a path to move forward. And I'm not sure if everyone's aware, I've talked to a lot of the business owners in town here, and it's not a good situation here in town. There's a lot of businesses that are struggling and having a very difficult time. And it just seems, we just seem to be, keep on getting hit with certain events that happen in the world. And, you know, in 2015, there was, changes in government policy towards the energy industry, and we lost a lot of, energy service-based companies, here in town and surrounding area. And then we had COVID, and then, we had the cost of living crisis. And, now we've had, tariffs. And we're as a community, we're disproportionately affected by the tariffs that are happening in the world here right now. You know, we're a resource dependent community. We have tariffs against the forest industry, we have tariffs against the agricultural industry, and we have tariffs against the oil and gas industry. And it's really impacted the community here, like over time. We've lost 1,000 people in the county here in the last 10 years, from 2015 to 2025. The population of High Prairie has declined up until the point where we had the rural renewal program here in the last couple of years, and we've gained a little bit back through newcomers coming into the community. That's helped the rental market in town. So we gained back about 150 people. So we're around 2,450 or something. We used to be over 3,000 people here in this community. And we've lost 1,000 people. We've gone from 6,000 to 5,000 in the county there. And, you know, a lot of those are young families, you know, that were earning good paychecks in the resource industries around here. And, you know, as that industry changed, they had to move on and find jobs to support their families. So we did have an exodus out of the area, and that's impacted the local area economy. And used to be very buoyant, very strong here, but that's diminished. And so, you know, I was hoping to be here at the prior council meeting, because I know you guys have gone a long ways down your budget deliberations, and you're ready to vote on finalizing that budget for next year. But I think it's imperative that there's attention and allocation to investment attraction and economic development here for the community. And I realize there's a strategic plan in works here right now, and they're going to be here in January. And, you know, that's a process that's going to take some time, but there's a sense of urgency right now. And there's some opportunity in front of us here. The federal government's come out with some monies to help the forest industry, and they've come out with some monies to help the building industry for housing. And so there's some pots of money there that are available, but those are first mover sorts of pots of money there. And if someone doesn't go after those right away, you're just going to be left behind by other communities in Canada here. You know, we do have a small group of business people in town that meet periodically, and we talk about economic development. And we met last week with West Fraser, Brandon from West Fraser, they're the mill manager, and we talked about the forestry support funds that are coming out. There's $500 million grant fund for diversification and new market opportunities. And then there's a $2 billion loan subsidy program. And we asked if West Fraser was going to take advantage of some of those grant dollars. And they said they weren't. They were going to focus on their main business. They weren't going to diversify into other areas and that, but they'd be very supportive of a third party coming along that might want to do something that's value added to their operations there. And what came up, we talked about modular buildings and prefabs. And so there's an opportunity to go out there and attract a new ventures into this region, utilizing some of our products that are produced in our primary mills. And that would bring new jobs and new opportunities. There's a lot of changes going on in the world right now around technology, and a lot of things in regards to automation and robotics. And so I see a new, in the future, there are new industries being developed that would be needed to locate close to where some of these raw materials are being produced. So there's opportunity there to kind of transform perhaps our economy in the future there. There's been a lot of talk around data centers locating in Alberta, and why they're locating here is because we have the cheapest energy in North America. But so the Alberta Electrical System Operator is only going to let a few on to the system grid because we don't have enough electricity being produced in Alberta. So that's been a great demand for electricity production there, and also AI data centers got to go close to where that electricity is being produced, and they got to bring their own power to the system there. So they're going to be situated where the natural gas is. We have a lot of natural gas up here, and it's cheap. So it's cheap energy to run that through a combined cycle or cogeneration system there. They create one megawatt Glenbacher engines that you run natural gas through. It creates 1 megawatt of energy. And so there's a lot of opportunity, I think, around that and attracting that. And they're going to have to look to northern Alberta to site. This is where the natural gas is. So there's opportunities in that field, but that's regional, right? It's not not located in Town High Prairie, but that's sort of regional. That, you know, if we could attract some industries like that, we could, you know, people hopefully would live and spend their money in the local area economy. Specific to High Prairie, there's work that needs to be done with downtown revitalization, Main Street revitalization. There's got to be some strategies around investment attraction, filling up some of the local or empty lots here in town, some housing initiatives. I can tell you a missed opportunity here 2 years ago that impacted myself personally there. But we had Federated Co-op and McDonald's looking to site here in High Prairie. And Federated Co-op was looking for a major redevelopment over, they were going to buy my lots, and the McDonald's was going to go there, but they were also talking to Grocery People, which is a subsidiary of Federated Co-op. And they also talked to a local liquor store, I won't say the name. But they were looking at doing some big project redevelopment there and invest in this community. And the only thing I had to give them there was I had a 15-year-old economic leakage and retail study. It was dated 15 years. Nothing had been done in terms of immediate real information there for 15 years. And that, you know, Brian Holmberg, if anyone remembers, was EDO back at the time there. And we worked with him. I was with the province at the time. And we worked with him with doing a strategic plan at that time for the community, and this economic retail leakage study came out of there. And the same issue exists today as it did 15 years ago. There's a tremendous amount of retail leakage coming out of this region. People are going out of town on weekends to buy groceries, gas, Christmas presents, and whatever else. And unfortunately, that's created a bit of a vacuum for our retail businesses here in town. So there's opportunity to re-engage and try to do some buy local and invest local. And there's lots of things that could be done to try to change the state of the local area economy around. So anyways, long story short, the co-op, there were some macroeconomic issues at the time there. The Alberta economy wasn't doing great in rural Alberta. And they recognized that internally there, and they decided not to invest at that time. Well, not to say it won't come back in the future, but there was a big opportunity there that I didn't have the current information. So I think that's critical there, to have some of that information available that can be passed on to those bigger corporate type of businesses that are looking to invest here. We have an empty building there at the east end of town, PD Mart, beautiful brand new building. We have a medical facility there sitting empty, siding falling off the walls. You know, perhaps there's opportunity there, community owned something, I don't know, but you know, I think there needs to be some strategic thought put into trying to attract and bring in some new investment into the community. Loblaws is on the west end of town with their 9 acres. They've sat on that for 20 years now, 207. I can't remember when they bought that. You know, maybe they need some sort of push there to develop and invest in the community. So really, that's all I wanted to bring forward to the council there. I just wanted to, I wanted to let you know directly there that it's tough out there for our businesses but there are some things to be done there. And I just hope that you are thinking about investing some resources in some investment attraction and economic development and, Main Street downtown revitalization. There's lots of things that are sitting out there that could be addressed there, but they need some sort of seed monies to get the ball moving there. So anyways, that's my talk. So thank you for listening.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation. It's fair to say that we share your concerns. The population shift is affecting everyone.
Yeah.
Our population profile is changing in that the percentage of older people, such as myself, in fact, some other people around the table, is increasing, and the percentage of young people under the age of 35 is increasing.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that is driven by economic opportunities as people raise their families.
Yeah.
So we are certainly sensitive to that. You made a indirect reference to a study that is going to be presented to the joint council, both county and town council, on January 12th from Deloitte. And we're looking forward to that with some anticipation. And hopefully out of that, we will be able to develop a regional strategic strategy that will begin to meet some of the needs that you've identified. In my campaign, if you were at the forum, you'll know that I feel that a key ingredient to economic development is a healthy regional chamber of commerce.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that steps have been taken to bring that about. We haven't had a chamber of commerce since I think 2013.
Yeah.
And so it's long overdue, but I understand that that's going to be taking place. And I would look forward perhaps to your reaction to the report that we're going to receive on January 12th.
I think
it will become a public report.
I think you'll see a lot of the same issues that we've been talking about for 15 years of economic leakage.
So thank you very much for coming, and we appreciate your bringing your views to council.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other public delegations? The seats are full of our people. Moving on then to item number 3. The fire chief's reports. And I forgot to tab my pages, page 5. Come forward, please. Page 5. Our table package has your October report and your November report. So if you just want to summarize some things and perhaps bring this up to date with the success of your community Christmas party. And then we'll go into the table. David, I had difficulty reading the table because my eyes are aging. But if you could go over that in more detail, then just pick out the highlights of that as well, okay? Go ahead.
So on the table itself there, you can see general alarms. We've had 2 in November, none in October. Motor vehicle collisions in town. Motor vehicle collisions in town, we had none, but again, we had a lot of alarms in town. That's our big one in town is alarms. County, we had 2 MVCs and 1 structure fire in the county. That pretty much sums up most of those calls. And training, the members put in on Monday night practices hundred and 65 hours. That's again, that's Monday nights and 2 hours each member earns. And a lot of times they put in a lot more than 2 hours. Volunteer activities, just they could use the hall, the gym, that kind of stuff throughout the hall. They put 21 hours in. County hour response, the members put in 14 and a half hours for response calls. And in town on those alarms, we put in 3 hours. And then at the bottom there, it says what we billed out was $2,200 or $2,220 is what we billed out for in November. That's, if there's any, is there any questions on the chart?
Councillors, any questions of the fire chief? Councillor Hammond.
Hi, so this is my first time seeing this report. A couple questions. Under town alarms, you have an ARR and an SD. What does that stand for, please?
So ARR, that means we arrived on scene, and SD is stand down. So we were en route and we got stood down. Where the other ones, we made it to scene. It might have been just a false alarm still, but we made it to the incident.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments from councillors? Councillor Greenline?
I see with the report for revenue you mentioned for November was $2,200. The, prior to that, it's considerably higher. Is there a reason for the $2,200 drop? Is it just bills that haven't gone out and billed out yet? Or is it just, it was little activity that was billable?
I don't want to say the words, but it was a good month for us in November.
That's what.
You mean in October?
No, October was busy for us. And November was not busy. That means it's good for us. If we're not busy, it's good for us.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from councillor? I've attended quite recently 2 separate meetings that have involved discussion of your budget. And so we've had interesting discussions about how you bill things out. So I take it you bill when you go to a motor vehicle site and you bill by vehicle and personnel, and the same is true of structural fires and stuff.
Yes, so for motor vehicle collisions on the highway, we actually were able to actually send the whole invoice to highways, and then they push it on to whoever they see fit or is at fault. So they do a lot of the legwork for us. Structure fires, it's different, if you want to say. In town, we bill for everything, and in the county, they don't.
Okay, I see that so far you billed out $135,150. That's the running total as of the end of November, I think, on your chart. I think it's worth noting that most people don't realize that fire services have a revenue stream. And this is a significant one.
Yeah, so that's what we built out so far. There is also cost recovery for materials we used on scene, whether it be foam that we use. There's also has building inspections that we do. If we also provide signages for pull stations, that kind of stuff, that's all included in that as well. And any fees, if they don't meet the codes, fire codes and the building codes, then they pay that fees, and that goes onto that as well.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Deputy Mayor, you got any questions?
No.
You sure? Here's your chance to embarrass him. I can jump on it. Thank you very much, David. Appreciate it. By the way, I really did enjoy myself at the Christmas party, even though I was on the wrong side of the road.
I'll do better next year, getting you something.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on then. Entertain a motion to receive the fire Chief's report for information. Counselor Hanlon, any questions or comments about it? All those in favor? Carried. Now, moving on to the minutes, we have two sets of minutes, one set from the special meeting and the other from the regular meeting. We're on page 10 and 11 for the minutes of the special meeting on November 25th, and we can motion to adopt those minutes. Councilor Minderland, any questions or comments on those minutes? Hearing none. Jeffrey?
That's on the special meeting.
Yeah.
We don't need the reason why the purpose of the hearing is part of the minutes. That's what's a part there.
Yeah.
It's video, but
They're pointing out that under 3.1 of the special minutes, the purpose of the hearing should have been completed.
yeah, you don't know reason for hearing. It's that.
So we'll amend that.
Okay, Councilor Minderland?
Similarly with the notice of public hearing. Should also be in there when the notice was given and that, so if anybody wants to check that.
Okay.
Let's find that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
We know that notice was given, but it should be reflected in the minutes that advertising was done as required. Any further? Thank you for those sharp eyes. Thank you. Any further questions or comments on special minutes? Motion then to adopt the minutes as corrected. Deputy Mayor, move. Any further comments? Sorry, I double X. Anyway, all those in favor of motion is corrected. Carried. Moving on then to the minutes of the regular meeting of November 25. We're here on pages 12 and following through to page 18. Any questions or comments on those? You've had a look at them. Any questions? Councilor Hammond.
So, on page 13, Stars Air Ambulance, it states that she requested $6,000. My understanding is she requested $6,000 for a 4-year contract. So that would have been $24,000.
Yes, that was $6,000 per year or year.
Yeah. And then on page 15, 6.3.2, it states that regarding the compensation, CAO compensation, termination severance pay section, the way it's worded, it says, and to include a provision for employer paid health and pension benefits. Now, I know what we discussed was, I believe it was the employer share. So the way it's worded here, to me, it looks like we're paying the whole thing, when I was under the impression it was only the employer share.
That's right. We'll put in an employer portion.
Okay, so we'll change that to the employer paid share. Any further questions or comments?
Lauren Kay.
Oh, I forgot about her. Under the public delegations, we had a lady make a presentation. And I know that the CAO responded to her with a very nice email, but she's not listed here as under the public delegations. And I can't remember her name.
She's there.
Lori, who?
It's there, it's on page 6, 2.1.
Oh, I see them saying.
Public relations. There we go, public
Or
relations.
page 14.
Oh, page 14.
I think, yeah, that's-
Yeah, there she is, private citizen. Yeah, Lori McCain. Okay. Entertain a motion to adopt the minutes as corrected. moved by Counselor Persky. Any further questions or comments? Got things a little out of order there. Sorry for the confusion. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor of adoption? Carried. Okay. Moving on to land use bylaw, third and final reading. We already did that. Appointment of Big Lakes County Councilors to Town Council Committee. We're on page 23.
I think we still need to do a final reading for that land use bylaw.
We did a second and third reading at the last meeting, according to the minutes.
So should we have said third on this one?
We should have said, no, third and this is third and final,
That's right.
but, third is different from third and final.
Is it? Okay.
Apparently.
Right. So we still need to get it approved, third and final.
We go through this. Let me see, where are we? On page 13, we have their third reading of land use bylaw amendment. We did it last time. The third reading is always the final reading.
Maybe.
Just expression of the minutes in motion.
Was it? Pardon?
Would that be expression of the minutes?
It is in the minutes.
It's in the minutes, should that be a question? The minutes then is third and final, add final to the third reading?
To those months, maybe we'll
Want
do
to?
that. Yeah, do that
Want to
one.
do that?
Customarily call it third and final.
Okay,
So in the future,
okay.
fair enough, thank you.
Moving on, continuing on agenda item 6.2. That council assign the appointments of Big Lakes County councilors to committees, external agencies, boards and commissions as approved by the Big Lakes County Council at their organizational meeting held on November 3rd, 2025. And we have the listing there of the county councilors on Reeve and their committee assignments. Entertain a motion.
I don't move.
Deputy Mayor move. Any questions or comments on it? Hearing none. All those in favor? Carried. Item number 9.1. I have a question here.
Your worship, sorry, we added in 6.3 in there.
Oh, sorry, your library appointment.
Yes, yeah.
Go ahead, Councilman Ryan. Introduce it.
Thank you, worship. So I attended the library meeting again last week again, and there was brought up that when we gave the information regarding my appointment, both the library and the Peace Library System, it was just done as per attached listing and the motion. And so there was no name mentioned as who was being appointed and who was the alternate. They required to have both the name of the appointment and the alternate in the motion in order for the Peace Library System and for the Medicine Hat Library Board to appease the provincial people. They say they need to see that in the motion. They said the motion is as per attached listing, but as I said, they need to see.
Councilor Mendeline, I ask you to adopt.
Yeah, I'll make the motions. I make the motion to work that. Okay, the council appoints Councilor Minderline as the member and the mayor as the alternate members to the High Prairie Library Board.
And,
I was gonna do a second motion for that, so we go.
they have to have a separate motion? Okay.
Second motion.
All those in favor? Carried. Second motion.
The second motion would be exactly the same as that, except to replace the Peace Library System. Peace Library, system, instead of the High Prairie Library Board.
Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Does that exhaust your need?
That satisfies 30.
Okay, thank you. Moving on then to 9.1. I'm a little confused as why we need this, since we're adopting the operating budget 2 weeks from today.
Well, just in case we don't, I think do we need to have a council meeting on the 23rd?
Well, then we would be able to have it all done by Christmas.
Maybe we can approve it all next week.
Next week? No, next week we're doing in depth. That's at the committee of the whole.
Okay.
Is there any need for us to declare a holiday on the 23rd, other than that it's my wife's birthday?
Well, then we shouldn't have a council meeting on the 23rd.
No,
It's your wife's birthday.
we don't recognize birthdays after the age of 80.
Well, I'm speaking on behalf of your wife.
No. She doesn't even want anything.
Herman, support me here.
Your worship, no matter what we do, we were not going to be able to pass the final budget by the 23rd of December. And in the fact that we do not have our assessment numbers from our assessor, plus we don't have the final budget numbers from any of the boards that require the county to sit down with us and approve those budgets prior to we're coming to us for discussion.
And not all the managers will be here the week of that 23rd.
So if we pass the midterm budget now, then we're okay to go into the new year and start doing those other works as we get the information. We can do some of the looking at the budget, but there's gonna be parts of that budget we got to get the final look at until into the new year.
Okay, any other comments? Deputy Mayor? You're okay with this?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
We have to pay bills, so you have to approve it.
Oh, yeah. No, I believe in paying bills. Any further questions? Okay. Option one then, that council approved the interim 2026 operating budget of $5,090,735 as detailed in the appendix. Motion, Councilor Thunder, any questions or comments on the interim budget? Hearing none, all those in favor? Carried. Moving on to the capital budget. The recommendation that council approve the capital projects with the following changes. And we're gonna go through everything here, page by page. I'm starting with, let me get the page number right here. Page 32, water treatment plant upgrade. We can either do this project by project, or if councilors want to do it, let's do it one at a time. We'll save the manager.
Hey, good evening, council and your worship. We did close the tender today, or late yesterday. It came in at $3.7 million. The original estimate, I think, was 3.135. We have added a project that was part of this carry forward to that contract, which adds another 400,000 to the actual budget that we had set. So it's $200,000 over budget coming in, and then engineering and contingency upon that. So the final total is 4.3. Just look at that.
Did you say 4.3?
4.336, I think. Just give me 1 second. I'll give you the actual number.
This number here. You number, you go back.
I'm going to rely heavily on the two former CEOs to heat up the coal.
Okay, the letter of recommendation is coming at 4.326 and $8. I'll cover the $8. With a $365,000 for engineering and a $400,000 contingency on this, which will not be spent unless we run into some issues that we're unforeseen.
Okay, so at least in the printout I have in front of me, I've got a water treatment plant upgrade for $3,135,000.
Yes.
And this now has been raised to $4,326,000.
Which includes page 4. The raw water power backup is part of this contract.
Okay,
So add another 400,000 to the original amount.
okay. So now we got it, but we still have an $800,000 jump, do we?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear why we have an $800,000 jump.
Part of it is tariffs. A lot of this equipment is coming out of the States. That's a lot of the increase in cost. There's some things that were addressed due to the fact that we are switching to chloramines. There was some initial concerns about us switching to chloramines due to kidney dialysis and that type of thing. So there's some other equipment that when the first estimate came out that has failed, that we needed to put into this contract to get repaired.
Okay, any questions or comments from councilors? This is an $800,000 jump.
That's including a 400,000 contingency, which will not be spent,
Will
Yeah.
not be spent.
will not be spent if we don't need to spend it as part of some other, if anything else comes up that is
You
not.
realize you're on video, eh?
Yeah, you imagine.
Councilor Thunder.
Equipment's being made in the States or it's being shipped out of the States?
Most of it is made in the States and then shipped.
Councilman Ryan.
And having said that, so I take it there's no economic replacement available in Canada or supplier available in Canada that could supply that for,
Not with the equipment that we have.
okay, thanks. So I can confirm that.
We're dealing with the water treatment plant upgrade and the raw water power backup as a single project now. Any further questions? Before we move on? Okay, then we'll move on to the raw water bank stabilization, please.
Again, as of the last meeting, I did inform council that this has kind of been a project that's been on the go for a couple of years. And due to a lack of runoff in these past years, we haven't been able to do the project because we needed to get pumping as soon as possible. This is a project that needs to be done when the reservoir is lower so that they can actually do the work. And with the runoffs we've had the last couple of years, we need to get the pump in as soon as possible in the spring. So it's kind of the catch-22 carrying this project forward. We are going to be using this money to address the aerator problem that I showed you guys when we did our tour. So some of this money is already in the process of being spent.
Councilor Brisky, you had a question?
How low do you have to get the water?
To a comfortable level for us, like it needs to be down probably 6 feet, 8 feet.
Okay, how long does it take to fill it back up?
It can take anywhere from 90 to 110 days of steady pumping.
It goes steady pump.
Yes. So it's critical to get it in. With all the snow that we've gotten in the last week, things are looking very promising for a long runoff in the spring. So it may well be able to be taking place next year.
Any further questions on the raw water bank stabilization? Okay. We may as well keep him up here and go on to the weir and raw water on page 39.
And again, the grant has been applied for. It was received on time. We got acknowledgement that it was there. Again, this project is going to be probably over 2 years because we'll have to go, once we find out if we get the grant, we'll go into a consultation process and engineering and that type of thing before we start moving forward with this.
So then council can expect the 1.325 million set aside right now for this project will in fact be expended over 2 years, not 1 year.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions or comments on the weir?
Based upon the grant being successful.
Councilor Persky?
They put a weir in quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
Further down the river. During the winter, and in the spring, they had, or that summer, they had, all the ministers come to have a look at it, and it was gone.
It's silted.
It's silted in.
Yeah.
No, is this one here not gonna get silted?
This has the ability to open the gates
Okay,
to allow the natural flow of water to desilt itself. That's the design of this weir. And then you
Good, I hadn't thought of that. Good.
close the gates back up and.
yeah, I was just wondering how we're gonna do
Okay, any further questions on the weir and the rail water expansion engineering? Well, what else do we, water meter upgrade. Oh,
Wow,
you're gonna,
I went,
look at this,
I went office flooring. Again, it's the project we talked about going to, a radio reading, eliminating the need for a meter reader, upgrading the software, the office. And we discussed 2 years or 3-year project, and that's up to council's discretion if they want to do that. We've had meetings with 3 different meter supplying companies, 2 of which have indicated that they would extend the pricing from next year into 2027. Should we go forward with the program, they would extend their pricing for 2027 at 2026 prices.
questions or comments, Councilor Hanman?
Were you able to double check and find out if we went 3 years, if they would keep the same price or?
I haven't been able to talk to them. We had a meeting with an individual yesterday in regards to the building aspect of things, but not the actual meter suppliers.
Councilor Minderline?
Going back to the previous one we had, this year meters, are these produced in Canada or can we expect possible raises for that because of tariffs?
The meters are produced in the States, and that's why we should lock into 2 years and then worry about the 3rd year in the future if council chooses to go with this program.
So they've guaranteed this price for us, the price we already have from them,
They will, if we go forward.
if we go forward. Thank you.
And we still need to choose which meter we're gonna go with.
Any further questions on the water meter upgrade? Okay, jumping back then to the new gas supply line.
Yes. Again, we have an estimate on the table. The co-op can't supply us the amount of gas we're gonna need for P-line Estates in the future. And they are allowing us to tie onto their big transmission line coming from the north, which is 6.5 miles to the northeast. This would allow us to have a secondary supply for the town and eventually be the primary supply for the town.
Questions or comments from Councilor? I'll ask it then, at basically $2.5 million, will this be completed in a single year?
This would be completed in a single year's construction.
So this is a one-time, 1 year expenditure.
Yeah, probably after being that the full-fledged engineering and land agent has to come in and get involved. It's probably not gonna go ahead until late next fall after the crops are off. Should council choose to do this.
Okay. I think I've hit your projects, or have I missed one?
I'll do the office floor.
I should point out to council that he was buying goodies for the office staff this morning.
So I gotta keep the ladies happy and take care of us very well.
Apparently you're doing a good job of it.
Well, some of them get mad after Christmas that they've had too much chocolate.
Oh, you remember you're on camera.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I want to move over Mr. Dendy's projects. And so I'll skip all that stuff and go straight. Page, sidewalk. Page 42, the roads overlay program for $60,000. Go ahead.
So, yeah, just like we talked about last week,
Your mic on.
like we talked about last week, continuation of the program to overlay more streets and not asking for so much as the last couple of years because we find it very hard to use it all.
Hard to what, sorry?
Use all the funding, the 100,000.
Okay, excuse me, I just have to make some notes. Give me a second and then I'll get back to the job. Any questions or comments on the roads overlay program? Hearing none, we'll move on then to the walking trail rehab program.
Same thing again, just more money to spot fix different places on the trail. We, just something I didn't tell you guys last week. The last few years, we've been trying, geotextile matting and plastic under the actual walking trail. It seems to be doing something. Plus, we also have a spray.
When you say doing something, is that?
It seems like it's stopping those weeds from coming through.
Oh,
Plus, we've been doing a spray program for the last few years, which is all done by people that are, have the tickets to do it. And seems to be also pushing it back. So we've struggled with this one particular area. And I hope this time we can get it. So.
okay, the questions from councilors on the walking trail rehab? Seeing none, we'll move on to the sidewalk replacement for 200,000.
Again, it's continuation of the program. And I think most of you guys everybody here has seen the new sidewalks. They are definitely they look way better and they're some places 2 feet wider than what used to be there. So 2 people can walk past each other without bumping into each other. Maybe not me and somebody, but 2 normal people. So.
And most importantly, wheelchair.
Yeah, that's right. And also, just to add to that, the contractors even added, like, wherever it comes to the road now and the repair ramps are there. There used to be little grassy sections. Now it's a whole big repair ramp. Like, it's even better than before.
Thank you. Moving on then to the loader, 400,000. What are we buying for 400,000?
Brand new machine.
What kind of machine?
It would be whatever comes through in the tender. Maybe a Caterpillar, maybe a Case, maybe a John Deere. It's all according to who gives us the best price and what we're looking for. So, and it has to be, sorry, Mr. Mayor, it has to be a certain size to handle the snowboard. The snowboard is quite a heavy attachment. So the loader that we will be getting will be one size larger than the one we have now.
Okay, not knowing a great deal about loaders, Any questions or comments? Counselor Persky, you know a little bit about loaders?
A little bit. They talked with Peace River. They have a 950 for sale. It's too big for the town. So they suggested don't buy it. Don't get a 950.
Well, we're going to do demos. We're having demos coming in.
Yeah.
That's, before we do anything, we will be
Yeah.
demoing different loaders. So,
Any further questions, Counselor Persky?
Not right now.
Okay, Counselor Thunder.
You gonna come next year and ask us for a bucket and a blade and a bunch of other attachments, or
The
does
bucket and-
everything?
no, the bucket and the blade is all part of this 400,000.
Any other questions, Counselor Persky?
What kind of blade?
Oh, it's a 4-in-1 snow blade. And it's a 12-foot blade, and then it has some wings on it that go out about, I think the blade all told is about 22 feet wide when opened up. So it's going to increase our snow clearing thing, really. We're going to save a lot of time with this blade. The blade we have now is a 12-foot, and it's more like a landscaping blade. It's heavier, and you can use it for moving dirt and stuff, but we hardly ever use it for that. We only pretty much use it for snow clearing. So.
Any further questions on the loader? So, when do you think those demos will be done?
As soon as I get, if this gets passed, then I ask for demos to start coming.
Okay, and so they bring their equipment up?
They bring their loader, we try it out, they give it to us usually for about a week, let us run it. And this time of year is wonderful because we have something to do with it,
So
so
will councilors get a chance to see what $400,000 buys?
you bet. If it comes to our yard, you guys can surely come over there and have a look.
Okay, we'll expect an invitation. Thank you.
We'll have Councillor Shunter drive.
Yeah.
Your insurance cover that, Counselor Shunter?
My loader's a little bit smaller. 2 hours to plow my parking lot this morning.
Moving on from the loader to the blower. It's a timely day to talk about snow.
Yeah, it's, same as last week. Attachment that goes on the front of the loader, self-contained, engine. It, does 3,000 ton an hour, which is what our old snow blower does. So that's why we don't want to go any smaller than what we're used to, because right now, we need it. So we did the downtown on Sunday night. And the guys haul usually what takes 4 hours, even with our snowboard working fine, or, working to its abilities. They hauled for 8 hours to get what they done Sunday night. They're going out again tomorrow night and doing it again. If the snowblower breaks down tomorrow night, she's toast, and we're loading with a loader. So.
Okay, any questions or comments on the blower? Anything? Moving on, where's his next one? Is that it? 44th. I think it is. Pardon?
44th Street.
Oh, yeah. Trying to find the page that's on. It's 21, page 50. Yeah.
21.
Oh, don't buy it. No. Yeah. Okay, moving on to 44th Street construction.
Again, beyond repair, we can't do anything with it other than put gravel on it if we keep it. So the way it is, there's the picture of something I never showed you, the picture of the catch basin that you guys see there, that's really lifted up. We wanted to try to lower that thing a few years ago, but it's actually sitting right on top of the barrel. There's no rings or nothing there to grade it properly. So we couldn't do nothing with it. It's just, everything is sunk around it. And, you know,
On the budget of almost 2.9 million, that's all in a single year?
Yeah.
Okay, and then moving on to Pine Crescent,
so if you guys notice that the budget number has changed, and in the justification there, like I say, the utility manager and I decided, you know, after we talked a bit about it, it's gonna be tough to rehab that whole street and then all of a sudden down the road in the next year or so, we gotta dig in there for a water line. So I know I said that we would
excuse me, dig in for what?
dig in there because a water line broke. So that's why the price has gone up, is the addition of a water line. And that old water line going through there is an old steel line, and it's probably, you know, not a thing to take a chance on keeping there.
Questions on Pine Crescent? We'll quickly go on to Evergreen and talk about these three together. Evergreen for 2.6 million.
So Evergreen's cost went down. When I talked to the engineers, this was done in May, June of this year. And I wasn't thinking, I was just preparing some numbers to show council what these streets would cost. I wasn't thinking that there's a chance of doing it, you know, next year. So after talking to the engineers again, once I told them that you guys really wanted some numbers and there's a chance that this could get done, the sub base was going to cost us a lot of money because the road, there's places in the road where it's needs to have not just the asphalt taken off, but they need the sub base dug up. They were basing it on a total 100% sub base fix. We don't need to do that. They said if we do it now, in the next couple of years, we can save doing that. We can spot fix. So they're putting in 10% for total sub base rehab, where before the price for 4 million was 100% rehab.
Okay, let's entertain some questions from councilors and also look at all three of these as a single construction package. Any questions or comments? Let me start off the question then. In the normal construction season of any summer, can we in fact do these in a single year?
The engineers suggested that we would bundle Evergreen and Pine Crescent together and keep 44th separate in a tender. Like have these two bundled and then 44th its own separate tender.
Does that mean that we're looking at doing one bundle this year and the second bundle next year?
You could do them all this year coming up if you wanted to, but it would probably be two different contractors doing the work.
And then we, of course, have to ask ourselves, now talking about a total 2.8 plus 1.7 is 4.5, 6, just over 7 million. And obviously, we might be looking at ways to split that over more than 1 year. That's a big hit for us for 1 year. Anyway, Councilor Minderline, you had your hand up?
Yes, I see with the Pleasant View Drive or Evergreen Drive, just whichever name you want to put to it, that the defunding for that would be the debenture. Was that the plan going forward? If we would have just done the 44th and the other street, Pine Crescent, this year, and then next year you're doing that for Evergreen, would we also debenture that, or would we then be able to have other funds available possible?
I think it's a question for the CEO to answer.
Well, we, the choice is council. We could drain or decrease the reserves further, or have a combination of, or not a combination, or just decide to issue debt for those two road projects, Pine Crescent and Evergreen. Can we do it debt servicing wise? Yes, we can. Our operating budget tentatively is showing a surplus right now. And we could stay within a 2% tax rate increase by, and if we incorporate both those road projects.
Go ahead, Counselor.
So what would be the estimated, month or annual debenture payment that we require for that then?
So for Evergreen, it's about $99,288 in that range. And Pine Crescent is $67,010.
That's for the addition on Pine Crescent?
Yeah,
What was that?
Pine
Okay,
Crescent. So
so about 1.6 million.
that's right. So that's right. So I think our goal, administration's recommendation is to always stay within a 2% tax rate increase. Whatever is left over, it goes into reserves.
Okay, that's fine.
Questions or comments from any other comment? Counselor Tucker.
Mike, you had mentioned to us on the tour that the Alberta government is gonna redo the highway through town in 2027.
Supposedly, they,
I'm concerned if we're gonna have to have money set aside to fix any utilities underneath that before that road is done.
That was going to be my next question.
Well, as it stands now, the capital program that I'm seeing is 9.3 million. I note the extra 800,000 for the water treatment plant upgrades. So that would bring it to 8.5 million. So we could still do that 2027 project, but we need to build it back up our reserves. There's no doubt about that. And how quickly we can do that, it may require, say, in 2027 to have a 4 or 5% tax rate increase.
I want to get into this cost of the highway upgrade in 2027. Is there any guesstimate as to how much of that project will wind up coming back to our taxpayers for the underground work or anything else? Can we at least have an intelligent guess of this?
in my conversation with the engineer from the government, any surface work would cost us nothing. But they do not do the underground. So I don't know if Vern can answer.
That's why I keep looking in the corner there.
He's hiding. The answer was.
You've got a couple. We never allow the coals to cool too much. Yeah.
Fortunately with the highway, the bulk of some of that work on the highway was done in 1980 with PVC going when the Evergreen Reservoir was built. So we'd be looking probably at 2.5 blocks of cast iron underground to be replaced. Usually it runs about 250,000-300,000 a block. So you're looking maybe 800,000 for water. The sewer lines would have to be cameraed and televised to see what kind of shape they're in. We do have one section that does give us some grief once in a while in front of St. Andrew's School. That would be the only place that I would be concerned about at this point. But manholes, and then there's storm sewer that would probably have to be addressed as well. It works, but it doesn't work well. My past experience when I've managed, because transportation will throw this back onto the town unless they've changed for us to manage the project, and then they just fund it. They will cover the curves, but in the past, they did not cover sidewalks. So that would be a hit to the community as well, unless they have changed their.
Well, they told me that they would cover everything. That was the word from the engineer.
Then they have changed.
Do they help us with the storm surge?
No, they will do the catch basins, tops, but not anything underground.
Questions from council? So my mental calculator says that we got about a $1.2 million bill associated with the highway fix.
Approximately.
Well, my brain only works approximately.
That's my best guess, right? I can't guarantee what the final number will be. If we have more information once we kind of tender out 44th of current current prices for 2026 construction season. Because there is a block of underground that has to be done on that street.
Well, my sense is that you're not going to get 3 out of 3.
Just to let you know,
Which 2, if you,
sorry,
which 2 are the most important of the 3? And can be done in 1 year. We don't want any stuff running into the next year because we're gonna have too much budget pressure on us in 27. Oh, he's coming to help you.
One more comment about doing all these projects in 1 year and going from 2 different contractors, you're paying double the mobilization costs as well. Right? If you go with 2 separate contractors, if you do 2 of these projects and you go with 1 contractor, you only pay 1 mobilization fee.
and that's quite expensive.
So give us a bundle of 2.
Well, if I was to bundle 2 in importance, it would have to be 44th and Evergreen. Because at the end of the day, Pine Crescent is just a crescent. And it's not well traveled. So
Okay, we've heard from 2 very experienced managers, what we're looking at. We've got this unknown, 1.2 could become 1.5 to help with the highway fix up. Questions from councilors? Now's the time to ask them. Councilman Nye.
You mentioned about the mobilization costs, and if we only did the 2, if we did all 3, you'd have to pay mobilization to 2. But if we do 2 now, it's 1 contractor, and then down the road do the other one, it'd still be mobilization for 2
yeah,
organizations.
it
So
would be,
it would
but
not be,
in different years, different contracts.
yeah, just be which money you get paid money for. Thanks.
But you might be able to piggyback that on the government, right? In 2027 with the highway contract.
Okay.
And another comment about this highway thing on 2027. They were supposed to have a consultant in place this spring, like early this spring. There's still no consultant in place. It's just the engineer that I'm talking to.
And you're saying this spring, you're talking about the spring of 2025?
Yes,
Or the upcoming
it was
spring?
like
26?
early spring, like, to winter, like April. And they never had a consultant in place then. They don't have one in place now. So what that does to this project for 2027, I don't know.
So right now, they're only 10 months behind.
That's right. So is that pushing this into 2028? We don't know.
Questions? This is a big decision for us because we have this unknown, the highway thing. It's unknown as to timing, as you pointed out. And it's unknown as to the final cost. I mean, I'm just doing a mental calculation of 1.2, which could easily become 1.5. So this is going to be a little tough one for us to come to some conclusion in the next couple hours. Now I'm going to ask the tough question. You only get 1 project. Which one is that?
44.
Okay. I'm not taking notes. I imagine somebody is. If there's 1, it's 44, and if it's 2, it's 44 and Evergreen. Was I correct? Huh, my brain hasn't slept yet. Good. Because you're not gonna get 3, I don't.
No.
Because that doesn't take away from the fact that we appreciate the work you've done on 3. Okay?
Well, like I say, you asked me to bring this back tonight, so.
No, we appreciate
Yeah.
the work that you put into it. It allows us to really make the true political decisions that the town needs us to make.
Yeah.
So I really do appreciate you coming forward with these 3.
And for next year, we have a 10-year capital plan too on what roads that we have. And that changes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work for certain roads. But next year, we'll make sure that we have a list of these, like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 that you guys can look at and what approximate costs there are there, so.
No, we appreciate that, although as I think I've said before, of the 10 years, council is most interested in the next 4.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments from anybody? He's already getting ready to get up. Any reason to hold them back? Have we covered all the projects? Deputy Mayor, what's there?
My recommendation would be to table Evergreen and Pine Crescent till next year. And then hopefully maybe we can see what's gonna happen with Highway 2 out here in front. And if they don't, we can always go ahead with them projects and combine them to next year.
Okay, now, we're not having the motion on that, but that's certainly one of the options that we're gonna bundle into whatever motion we come to at the end on the capital budget. We have a single motion on the capital budget. We don't have 30 separate motions. Thank you very much, and thanks for all the work both of you have put into this. You set the standard for the next two individuals.
Thank you.
The fire chief is next.
Yeah.
Where are the fire chiefs? We have Pat and Sacramento.
And really.
Yeah, changes 47, 48, and 49, and we will start then with the outdoor pad for 65,000. I know you've already spoken to us a week ago, but this is your last chance to convince us.
It's,
And we're starting to feel stingy here, so be convincing.
no, it's hard to follow the big items, so. I feel like I'm just pocket change, so. The front pad, like I said, it's sinking, or it's posing a backing in hazard. Obviously, we back our trucks in. I'm worried about if it continues to sink, there is pipes and stuff under there, cleanouts that we're driving on, trucks are heavier. That's all there is to it, so.
Okay, questions on the pad? Hearing none, moving on. Oh, Deputy Mayor.
I wanted to know if our Public Works Department could do a section in front there, dig it out. Go down lower, put pit run or whatever else has to be in there, the styrofoam. Repave it with the right thickness of the weight of the trucks. It'd be a temporary fix for just in front of the doors, but then you can look at if council's so chooses not to go on, so. And I guess that was another one of my questions going on down about recreation, about the bit that has to be repaired outside the pool, if our Public Works Department could do that. Since we're not giving them so much to do in the roads down. Maybe.
Yeah, well, we're going from 100 to 60 because we are busy. So.
But that, I know in previous years we had done that.
Okay, so is that being presented as an alternative fix?
Yes.
Having presented that as an alternative fix to the pad, what's the cost estimate on that alternative fix?
That's just.
Oh, okay. Moving on then to the wash bay.
Well, the wash bay, actually, Dennis, he came and actually tested out the concrete, and said the concrete's still good. So with that, I'd like to still go push for the relief cuts in it and seal it all up and recoat it, just like CPO.
I take it that the original 65,000 is that number going to be reduced now?
No, that's still with it. That wasn't the replacing the concrete.
Okay.
That was just rather than coating it and have the concrete bad and then fail down the road, he just confirmed that it was good concrete still.
Council Prisky, you had a comment?
Yeah, you're talking about relief cuts, it's too late.
Yeah.
All right. Concrete shrinks a half an inch on 100 feet. So you've already got your half inch. It's not gonna shrink anymore. But we could, if you wanted to, is fill the gaps with filler.
Yes.
Same thing as they did with the splash park.
So the relief cuts are not necessary. And if you had them, would it stop any further cracking?
No, it's cracked already and you're not
It's
gonna do
done.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
But you still have to dig down those cuts, right, to seal them in a little better?
You just grind them out. Just with a grinder and then fill it in.
Okay.
And moving onto the interior walls. For
Well, this one here, like I said before, we had a waterfall coming into the fire hall. Just a poor design of the roof. We think we patched it. Like I said, spring will tell. Yeah, they're fixed for the stopping the water was caulking and 14 years it finally gave out. So we actually tinned up between the two ribs and it diverts it around the hose tower. There's still potential of the hose tower still doing it. Again, it's a horrible design of the roof. There's also spots on the north side where there are birds and craters could get up into the building. They didn't finish it off. Like almost like they should have had soffit and another gutter on that side, but maybe they just figured we couldn't see it, so we wouldn't call them on it.
Okay, any further questions? Let me ask the tough question then. You're not gonna get all three. Which two do you want? And considering what Councillor Brisky's just advised you, which two do you want?
I still want the wash bay, the wash bay and interior wall.
Wash bay and interior wall, but not the pad?
No. I think the pad, we can fill holes for the time being and then divert it down the road if that's what it comes down to.
Okay, so we know what your priorities are.
Yes, sir.
Any questions or comments from council on the fire chief's priorities? Thank you very much. Moving on then. He's been sitting there with trepidation, waiting for us. As we get meaner and meaner and meaner, and stingier and stingier.
Good
I
evening.
think we're starting on page 54, are we?
Sorry, my jacket's on because I find it extremely cold in here.
Oh, yeah, the heat exchange. Starting on page 53 for $25,000.
Sorry. Still believe this is a vital asset that we need to have in place. No one can predict when the current heat exchanger is gonna break down. So rather than wait for that to happen, why not be proactive, have one on backup? So that when it does happen, rather than having the GBC down for 6 months, have it down for 5 days.
Is there any reason to believe that the current heat exchanger might give up the ghost anytime?
Yes, we have a contractor, Mr. Bulliscroft, who does the service calls on it every spring and fall. And he's been mentioning it over the last few years. And at this last one, he had said that it's on its last legs.
Question or comments from council on the heat exchanger? Councillor Sharp.
Why are we keeping it in the backup? When does the warranty kick in? Is it at the time of purchase or the date of install?
So when I talked to him, he wasn't 100% sure. So he said, again, if warranty, the day it ships to us is when warranty starts, we'd switch it over right away and have the old one as a backup. But if warranty doesn't kick in until it's installed, then we can wait. Unfortunately, Mr. Rillscroft is gone south for the winter, so I cannot ask him further questions until he is back. But he is the main company who serviced it for the last how many years. So he knows that machine inside and out. He's the one who's been part of it from the get-go.
I will say, Mr. Willis-Croft, and what he's talking about, if he says it's gonna go, it's gonna go. He's very knowledgeable in this area.
Thank Thank you, Councillor Sharp. Any other councillors on this one? Moving on then to the aquatic center pool pumps.
So there has been a change in price. I've got the final estimate that came in and it's doubled almost to 145,000. I have asked for an explanation why. Just a quick phone call with one of the servicemen said that they underestimated the amount of work that would be required rather than being a 2 to 3 day repair and installation. It'd be at least a 5 day. Because pipes need to be moved, taken out, reinstalled. They're not exactly sure just how intensive this will be and that the prices are going up. So they've already anticipated a price hike on their pumps for 2026.
How many pumps does $145,000 buy us?
5.
Now you're going to,
Yeah,
you know, the question coming, isn't it?
well,
Which of those pumps are you giving up? We want to stay at the 75,000. How many pumps does 75,000 buy us?
maybe 3. If, no, 2, 2.5. It all depends which pump, each pump is priced separately because some are larger pumps, competition pool, for example. It's 10 times the size of a pool, hot tub pump. So there is a bit of a price difference as well as the construction and installation of all the piping, taking out the old piping. They said they most likely have to take out some cement, vice versa. I have emailed them for explanation. I want to know a more detailed account. I haven't received one, but I did receive the new estimate yesterday, right before my JRC meeting is when it came in. So they haven't got back to me. I'd like a more detailed account, but he did say prices are expected to jump.
Well, as you can appreciate, we don't like surprises, and when we get them, we react negatively.
Oh, it was a
Like
surprise
in
to me.
minus dollars.
I understand. It was a shock to me as well. But again, very few companies that take care of aquatic centers and that are willing to come up to High Prairie, so they do. I believe that's part of the price. Is their travel, their hotel stays, being here for 5, 6 days. You have to take into account how much travel and meals cost. And
Okay, moving, if there's no further questions, moving on to the concrete pad.
sorry, can I add one thing to this?
Pardon?
Can I add one thing to these pumps?
Yeah,
You had said, which are the, what if you only get 2 pumps? I'd have to ask the public, which is more important, hot tub, competition pool, leisure pool, or your features? So everyone will give you a different answer. So asking to choose which one's more important depends who you ask.
no, you asked the Joint Recreation Committee. That's what they're there for.
Oh, I did that. Price was there. I let him know and I did approach, Big Woods County, David Reynolds and said that we need to, put up more money for capital projects. I told them they did not contribute enough last year, that helping with a splash pad is not enough, that these operational budgets are just to operate, not to maintain, not to improve. And that the expectation is a pool pump is part of operations. And that he seemed open to that idea.
I wrote in my written report to council, the county does seem open to contributing more going forward than they have in the past with these sorts of projects. I'll share a little bit about what we discussed at the meeting yesterday already. Yeah.
I know, it doesn't seem like.
They blend together for me. One of the questions that was asked was how much life is left in that building. I don't know if we ever got an answer. But one of the things to,
There's still a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the things to think about is if the county wants a multiplex, then the question becomes, do we abandon the pool and build a new pool and multiplex? And if that's the case, then you don't want to spend a bunch of money on the existing building. I don't know whether I agree with that or not, but before you think about spending 150 grand on pumps, that's a question that needs to be asked.
And my recommendation was no,
Yeah,
do not build a new aquatic center. That aquatic center is $45 million.
Yeah.
Prime examples, Valley View ran out of money. So their aquatic center, which is attached to the multiplex, is quite a disappointment. So we see a lot of people from Valley View because their pool is not up to the standard they expected.
Yeah.
If we were to rebuild this pool in a multiplex, there's no way we'd be paying 50% tax. I would never recommend it.
And I agree with that. You gotta look at both sides, but
Any other questions or comments? CEO?
Just to give you a little more comfort, even though the cost is almost doubled, we can cover this through the LGFF grant, the local government fiscal framework grant. And it's in the table that you've been provided with. So it wouldn't be a drain on our reserves. And yeah, it's difficult. I know with my experience in Fort St. John, when the hot tub went down, and actually it went down permanently, a lot of complaints from the public. There's a lot of older people go there. They don't necessarily swim, but they like that hot tub.
Mhm.
Why did she look at me?
When our hot tub is down for 15 minutes while they adjust the chemical levels, the amount of upset people we have is a lot.
Any other questions or comments on this? I'm going to upset people by having a 10-minute recess.
In the middle?
Good time. I get to do that because I'm mayor. He had to go to the bathroom. Yeah. I'm gone.
You always do it.
yeah.